Hi, how are you? How are you today? It's nice to see lots of people in here. I hope that you can hear me and I hope that you can see me because we had some audio issues on the weekend and we were able to get around them because we quickly recorded everything and sent it right out to you. So if you did sign up on the weekend, what did we cover on the weekend? It was, 15 AI powered features that I would add if I was designing your website tomorrow, or if I started selling travel tomorrow, 15 features that we would add to our website. So you can hear and see me just fine. That is the biggest relief in the world because I really didn't have a backup plan today other than to do what I did last time. So I'm super pleased about it. And yay, it's working. We have had, I honestly, Jamie reached out to me during the week and she said, "Oh, you have an error in this email." And I remember just falling to my knees thinking, are we in Mercury retrograde? You know about Mercury retrograde? It's where everything goes wrong technically. And I actually didn't bother looking it up because I thought that my phone, when I went to look it up, my phone wasn't working, which convinced me that we were. But it's basically when everything tech that you touch just turns to trash and nothing works and everything breaks. I feel like it's like those times where you send an email and you make a mistake and then you send another email to fix the mistake and you make another mistake and you just keep making mistake after mistake. So anyway, what do? You just push through it because these things happen. I have been live on television hundreds of times in the last few years, national live news and morning shows. I have around 2,000 hours of streaming time with all of you. Can you believe that? In 8 years, I've gone live and done about 2,000 hours of streaming. And yet still, there's always going to be something. Literally right before I came live today, we had a massive echo, couldn't get rid of it, and then finally got rid of it. These things happen. Oh, Nona says Mercury retrograde ended March 20th. I lived at this time. I mean, March 20th in which time zone? Because maybe here in California, maybe there's like some kind of sonic boom, weird stuff. I just watched Paradise season 2 on Hulu. I don't know who watched that. Maybe that has something to do with it. I'm going to hope that it's completely finished. I'm going to say that I just had a delayed Mercury retrograde and now we're all clear starting today. So I'm really excited to see you today. I feel like you are here because you all want exactly the same thing. You need new leads and you need new clients and you need new bookings, and that you have something in common that you don't like not knowing where your next booking is going to come from. Is that you? If so, let me know in the chat. I am going to give a lot of tough love today. The reason that you are not getting new bookings, that you are not getting proposal requests, that you are not getting leads is because you are not doing the right marketing or you're not doing enough. One of the biggest mistakes that I see is people create an online presence on the internet in one of two forms. They either put something on social media or they put up a beautiful website, or even not a beautiful website. They put up a website or they put up social media, and then they wait and wait and wait. And that, my friends, is neither promotion nor advertising nor marketing. All you've done is simply arrived into a room, and it could be an empty room or a room full of people. And the internet, honestly, is a massive room full of people. It's a stadium full of people, and it's super noisy. Imagine being in a stadium saying to your friend, I'm going to find you, don't worry. But you don't have any kind of strategy. You get there and it's super loud. And so you start doing what everybody else is doing. You start calling out to your friend, but your friend can't hear you. It's the same thing with marketing. I can guarantee you that if you do not have enough leads coming in, if you do not have enough bookings, it is because you are not doing the right kind of marketing or you're not doing enough marketing. And today we really want to talk about advertising and promotion. Because if you are guilty of having a website, if you are guilty of putting yourself out there on social media, posting, doing reels, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and that's all you are doing, then that is why you don't have leads and you don't have new email subscribers. If you've just put your website up and then you've waited for a year or for 2 years or even 6 months, nothing is going to change. I can tell you that there are websites that I have built for clients, and I go in, especially the ones that we did in weeks or the ones that were website in a weekend. We still have like a shared admin responsibility there to help you in case you get stuck. But when I go in and look at those websites, it doesn't surprise me that there are people who have had websites for 2 years and that have had less than 100 visitors in 2 years. And that makes me so sad, because if you owned a cafe or a restaurant or a boutique store and you had less than 100 people visit in 6 months, 1 month, you would probably have had to have figured out how to close your doors or how to figure it out and make it happen. And I want to take a second to ask you to consider this. If your travel business was a bricks and mortar business, so you had a spot, where would it be? Tell me, would you put yourself in a hotel lobby? Would you put yourself on the main street of a town or city? Would you put yourself in the mall? Maybe you'd put yourself in the center of the mall. Maybe you would do a pop-up in a busy strip mall, outdoor strip mall. You'd get a rent for a month and do a pop-up there. Where would you put yourself? Where would you put yourself if you could be anywhere? Where would you put yourself? I would love to know. I think if I had a travel business, I could possibly put myself in a really busy mall, like a shop front in a really busy mall. I could possibly do that. There's Expedia Cruises just near our UPS location here. Anthony and I have a mailbox for UPS, and it's just nearby the house. We don't put our home address on anything. And so we go there to pick up our packages and to send things away, anything like that. And there's an Expedia cruise place right next to it. And I never see anybody walking in or out, but they've been there for years. They've been there for at least maybe 5 years, I think, which means that they're definitely doing business. They're not losing money. So someone says definitely a high traffic area. Sherry says on the main street. Who else? Someone said malls are dying where I am. I'd pick near a popular locally owned boutique or coffee shop. Oh my goodness, I love that. I think that's Carrie who just wrote that. I'm going to pop that up on the screen. Yes, malls. Listen, we've got a couple of malls that are like amazing in LA, probably 3 or 4 maximum, but we have a lot of these outdoor areas. Like in LA, there's one called The Grove, there's another one called Americana, and they're super busy. They have thousands, tens of thousands of people on the weekends. So yes, I agree with you. It depends on what you're doing. You could put yourself near a Costco, a Sam's Club, but the idea is that you would put yourself in a place where there's traffic. Jamie says, as an introvert, all of these sound awful. And Jamie, with all the love in my heart, this is why, if you struggle with marketing, this is why. Because there is not a way to market a business without being a people person. And I get that that's really, really hard for a lot of people, because you might not know this about me, but I'm not a people person. I struggle engaging with a lot of people. I struggle having one-on-one conversations with people I've never met. I definitely struggle in a group of people, and it's not comfortable. But I push myself every time I go to a conference. I push myself every time I'm at a trade show. I push myself. It doesn't mean that the connection's not genuine. It is. If I speak to you, if I smile, if we give a high five, if we have a conversation, that's a genuine conversation on my part, because I wouldn't be in it if I wasn't feeling it, if it wasn't real. But it doesn't mean that it's always comfortable. So I get it for the people out there. Crystal says, I would put myself in a business office complex to target the busy executives. I love that. There is a new toast store, a gourmet toast store that we have fallen in love with. They're actually our new clients for Los Angeles Marketing and Media. For those of you who didn't know, we have a sister company that is for all kinds of businesses. Send us all of your referrals for your fellow business owners outside of the travel industry. But this is a cafe. They do gourmet toast. They're a franchise. There's like around 102 of them around the country, and it's called Toastique. So a new Toastique just opened near us, and they are busy. They are busy 7 days a week. This week they have to go to 7 p.m. opening hours, so they're open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And you will never catch them with an empty store, an empty cafe. It's just busy, 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 busy. So this then makes me wonder, if you're not being a bricks and mortar, what are you doing to get the traffic? Because all of these answers that you just put up on the main street, Sherry's answer here of on the main street, Nona's answer is awesome. Oh, there we go. Nona's answer of definitely a high traffic area. It leads me to ask you then, what are you doing to generate traffic for your online business? Because you know that if you had a bricks and mortar business, it would need to have a lot of traffic. You wouldn't put it in a dead area. You wouldn't put it in a dying mall. But by putting your business up on the internet, in a social media space or on a website, you've essentially put yourself up in a space where there is no traffic until you drive traffic to it. So what I'm going to do is I want to share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you a bunch of different tactics, and I'm going to split them today. I've never done this before, but I wrote myself a few little notes here. I have my little notepad here. I had a very good system in here. It wouldn't surprise you that any used pages, I fold them like this so that I could open them. But I did come on the weekend to find one of my other notebooks, and Houston had noticed, and he had folded all of the pages for the entire notebook. So I rescued this notebook from my notebook loving child. And I have some notes here that I want to share with you that I was thinking, if I was desperate for bookings, what would I do? I think that would be the question that you would all ask me if you could sit down with me and chat and say, if you needed bookings right now, what would you do? So what I did for the first time today, we're going to divide everything into two different categories. I'm going to share some tactics with you that I would do right away to get bookings right away. And I would share some tactics with you that I would do that would be more of a long-term game plan, because some things you're not going to get bookings right away, no matter how well you execute it, but it's a long-term game. So let me go ahead and share my screen. What I do want to do really quickly first is to show you, I usually do this at the end, but I'm going to take 3 minutes to do it right now. I want to show you our spring website offer. This is your website built in 3 days. You'll get a build schedule. You'll get put onto a 3-day build schedule. I am building 100% myself. I am coding phenomenal AI-powered websites. I'm talking somebody does a quiz and they get an amazing recommendation. It has chat bots in there. It's got all kinds of incredible things, destination guides. And not only do we build out this website, you'll see 2 things. One, it is 62% less of an investment than it used to be. We used to charge $6,400. We've always charged that for a custom built website. But now, thankfully, we've been able, thanks to technology, to be able to lower that down to $2,400. We've got a bunch of different payment plans. If you need a longer payment plan than that, if you need lower monthly payments than that, please come to me and ask me. Just send me an email. We'll figure something out. And what I really like about this is not only is it really quickly built, we're not outsourcing anything. Yes, there is an ongoing monthly plan that you are on indefinitely, but guess what? For the first time ever, you get to walk away from your website. You'll never have to manage or update your site ever again. You'll get a cell phone number, my cell phone number, that you will just text me every month. I'll text you and say, hey, Jamie, hey, Helen, hey, Natasha, what do you need me to do this month on your website? If you can't think of anything, I have a list of things that I recommend for you, and it's different for everybody depending on where you're up to. But I definitely want you to take a look at this. It's our spring website offer. We had tons of clients come through the other day. So happy for them. They are working on their onboarding. The onboarding is serious. It takes probably a good 90 minutes to get onboarded. But once you've done that, you don't have to do anything. We receive everything. We schedule you for the next 3-day window, and then you will literally have 5 days to make your changes and be connected. It is so fast. So make sure that if this is something, if you know that your website is not converting, then for sure reach out to me, because the things that I can build on your website will blow your mind. Here's the thing though. Here's the problem. If you don't have traffic to your website now, it's because you're not doing the right marketing, and a new website's not going to fix that. But if you are prepared, if your website is a static PDF, it's just nothing happens on it. It's just people go to look at it. It's just like a brochure. You are going to need to do an upgrade in the next few years, because technology has changed a lot, and it's changed the way that people expect results. Now people expect to be able to go to ChatGPT and get a 7-day itinerary for Greece. They can do that on these new travel websites. They can go and get an itinerary. Then they can pay your planning fee and you can book it for them. They were going to do that anyway on AI, but now they can do it on your website. They can compare 2 different destinations on your website. They can ask questions on your website, get immediate answers at 1 a.m. on a Saturday morning. So if you're not doing the work to get the traffic to your website, a new website's not going to help you. I just want to be clear on that, and I refuse to take your money for that. But if you are prepared to do what we're about to show you today, then you by all means should be having traffic go to your website. Okay, quick question. Patty says, what if we already have a website that we built with you from Website in a Weekend, but we want to tweak it to better in the AI environment? Is that the same rate? We don't have a way to better the Wix websites because Wix doesn't have the technology. We can't code into Wix. Wix does have a coding option, but you have to start a fresh coding website, which means we'd have to build from scratch. We don't build these sites on Wix. We build them in a custom coder, which is fine because it means that you guys can log into your website at any time. You can post blogs. We'll make you a back end depending on whatever you want to do. If you say to me, Sandra, I want to update my blogs on my own, I'll make you a login that you can update your blogs and they'll publish right away. But if you're like most people, I spoke to Fiona on the phone the other day when she booked in, and she's like, I just don't want to do anything. I literally just want to tell people about my business. She was telling me that she has a full-time job in retail. She loves it. It's where she gets all of her clients from, and plus some word of mouth. And she just needs a website that is more interactive for them, but she also doesn't want to manage it. So that was the reason that she rebranded. She has an amazing website that we built for her maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but she wants it to convert for her because she's driving traffic to it. Okay, so I want to go now I'm going to go back to my screen, but I'm going to change out. I'm actually going to log into, hold on, let me share this tab instead. So let me just make sure I'm sharing the right tab. Yes, that's it right there. So if you want to read about websites, go into mytame.com. Scroll all the way to the bottom and you will find down here website design, but I'm also going to put it here in the chat for you so that you can click on it afterwards. Okay, there you go. So you can go in and have a look at that. But right now I want to go into lead generation. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share my screen. And I'll just check. Yep, I'm on the right screen there for you. I'm going to share my screen. I'm logged into Tame, which is the same as the new all access people. You should have access to this. If you haven't been migrated across, let us know. And if you're a Tame client, you'll have access. But I'm logged in and I'm going to go to my dashboard, and we're actually going to use this as our guide today. You don't have to have Tame to do all of these tactics. It's just an easy place for me to come to be able to see everything. And I am going to send you an email summary just in case you don't have access to Tame, where you can go in and have a look at this. So where I am in Tame right now is where all of your tactics that we're going to talk about today are listed. We're not going to talk about everything, but I absolutely want to talk to you about the difference between these 4 tactics. So if you do have access to Tame, it's over here on the left. You click on Marketing Funnel, and just to give some perspective and some context, you will have put in here, say, for example, your business name. So I'll just make up a name because I don't have a business that sells travel. So I'll just make up a name, Macklemore Travel, for example. You'll have gone in and decided if you're measuring by bookings or individual travelers. You'll have put in your commission goals, your split, average commission per booking, more about your business in here, who your ideal client is, featured destinations, brand voice. You'll have selected that from in here, whether it's first person singular or plural. Some copy that you like, words you don't like, words you do like, some calls to action, your content goals, any campaigns, all of your links, any lead magnets that you have, your content length preference. So I like detailed content. You'll put in some testimonials and some branded hashtags if you have them. And then once you're done here, you can adjust your commission goals in there if you want to. You can go in and add in all of your suppliers and also your planning fees in here. I've only got one supplier and one planning fee, but you'd go in and you'd add more. So you might put in here, for example, Eagle Air. They're an air consolidator. So let's go into, we'll just put it under airline consolidator, and maybe you get 5% on first class and business class tickets. Average price is $15,000 for 2 people business class, and you want to make $10,000 in commission from them at an 80% split. Then it tells you that you would need 17 air bookings throughout the year, business class or first class air bookings. So you put all that in, and then you get to this page where it says marketing funnel. And this is where all of our TAME users and all access pass members can actually build out their marketing funnel. So this is where I want to spend time with you today. So I'm going to go in really quick. Now, just note, I can't see your questions right now, but I'll pop back in. If you have questions, ask them at any time, and I'll go back in and answer them in just a moment, or if you have questions or anything like that, or comments. So I've clicked on just this little I about learn about funnels, and I want to talk to you about the balance philosophy with your funnel. A marketing funnel, of course, is where you turn strangers, people who have never heard about your business before, into people who know about your business. Then you nurture them in the middle of funnel until they're ready, and build a relationship with them until they're ready to drop down into the bottom of your funnel, which is where they actually become a paying client. So they go from being a stranger to someone who gets to know you, like dating you, down to somebody who is a paying client in a committed relationship with you. For that marketing funnel to work, for it to be open at the top and attract lots and lots and lots of people, thousands of people, tens of thousands of people to find out about your business, to go from knowing nothing about you to knowing who you are, that requires you to have a very active top of funnel, which means lots of tactics, moving, working, operating simultaneously. The top of funnel, and I'm just going to move down a little here. The top of funnel is about awareness and discovery. So this is where strangers first discover that you actually exist. And your goal here is visibility. It's getting in front of people who don't know your name yet. So if you are not a social person, if you are not a people person, can you still have a solid business? Yes. But you're going to have several tactics in your top of funnel that still give people access to you, that still put you in front of people. And it cannot be all online. It just cannot. You cannot win that game. You would have to spend an enormous amount of money in ads to win that game, and to be getting 50 to 80,000 to 100,000 impressions on Pinterest to win at that game. At some stage, you need to activate your top of funnel with an in-person tactic. So why it matters, top of funnel, because you're invisible. You're invisible to your potential new clients. The good news is, for the non-people people or the introverts, you don't have to do it all the time. You could do it a couple of times a year. You could do it once a month, once every other month. You can warm up. I've been doing a lot of them lately. I don't like them anymore, but they do get easier. I don't like them anymore, but they do get easier. When I go, I still have anxiety. While I'm there, I still have anxiety. When I come home, I make Anthony listen to an hour of me telling him how great it was and how I'm glad I went, but I don't want to go to the next one. And then I repeat. I go again, I feel the same. So it doesn't get easier for me because I just don't like it, but I recognize that I have to do it. So inside of your top of funnel, you can do search-based tactics. You can also do in-person, and I'm going to talk to you only about top of funnel tactics in a second. The middle of funnel is where you're doing things like email marketing, newsletters, social media posts. Yes, I said it. Social media posts belong in your middle of funnel, my friend. Let me tell you why. When you post on social media, it's algorithm based. It is not reliable to find you new audiences unless you are going viral, which we are not. You are not, with your reels. You have to have viral reels in order to get new clients on you, to get new people to see you. because only 4% of your followers actually see your posts. So if your goal is to attract new people, posting on social media makes sense as a middle of funnel tactic, not a top of funnel, because new people are not discovering you that way. Okay, they're just not. You might have one or two people say to you, "Oh, I saw you on social." Maybe their friend commented on a post that you made. Maybe you were lucky enough to be on the discovery page, but generally speaking, that doesn't happen for the majority of us. So let's go in and have a look at the top of funnel tactics. And I want you to take a picture of this here. I want you to take a picture specifically of search, paid, outreach, and networking. This whole top of funnel section right here, okay? These tactics, I have a total of 13 tactics here that I'm going to show you some of my favorite. And I'm going to show you, like I said, ones that'll get you leads really quickly and ones that will get you leads slowly, but they don't require in person, okay? What I want you to know is that you need to have more than one tactic running at a time. Implement them one at a time so each one has your undivided attention and you can really focus and measure. But once you have it implemented, add another one. Once you have it implemented, add another one. I have a feeling that a lot of you do things like that. You'll be like, "Oh, let me try Pinterest." And you'll be all in about Pinterest. Then you'll switch to something else. Now let me try this. Now let me try a user-generated campaign, UGC company, where I can go and pay $300 and get some influencers to post about me. Or let me, and some of you just wrote that down because you're like, "Oh, let me try this new shiny object." But not many of you stick with things for long enough for them to pay off. Or you go to one networking event and you don't get a client. So let me divide these into search, paid, outreach, and networking. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Outreach and networking and referral base. These two bottom ones here are your fastest way to get bookings. If you want bookings for summer travel, 2 months around the corner, we literally just dropped H-Town at school this morning for his first day back after spring break, the longest spring break of my life. The parents all looked so happy. Can I just tell you, I didn't really notice this morning. Everyone was just like really happy and beaming. And the kids were happy to be there, but we were happier. But we dropped him off this morning. He has got 2 more months of school, 8 weeks of school until he is done. Until he's actually, I think it's a little less than what's the date today. You know, he has 8 weeks. He has 8 weeks of school until summer vacation. So if you're looking for a summer vacation, you have 8 weeks. Less than that, because people who want to go away at the beginning of summer will already have started thinking about it. But as we were standing around at school this morning, let me just put me back on my screen. As we were standing around, so you can see me, as we were standing around at school this morning, we have this thing at his school called Black Monday. And it's where all the parents of Black students get together on Monday mornings. We see each other every single Monday morning and we just chat and we just network and ask each other how you're doing. Some deals get done, some business gets done. So this morning, the topic of conversation was literally 2 things. What did you do during spring break? And what are you doing for summer break? Because it naturally led for travel. Because there was a bunch of people like us who didn't go anywhere for spring break. We had a lot of work commitments and other things going on. And we could go away in summer. And also, honestly, everything's expensive right now. We chose to save money by staying home so that we could travel in summer. But there were a lot of families who did go away. In fact, there were 40 families who went to Japan together. I don't know how that worked out. They said they had the most amazing time and they all took their kids. I think the group was just under 100 people. There was not a single travel advisor involved because there's not a travel advisor at the school working the school for business. And there's one, but she doesn't know what to do with herself. So she kind of just hovers around and chats to people. She's so lovely, but she should definitely have more skin in the game. And so it was just a parent who said, "We're going to Japan." And another family said, "Oh, that's cool. We'd like to go." And another family said, "Japan's on our bucket list." And before you knew it, it was almost 100, just under 100 people who went. It might have been just over 100. Anyway, they came back this morning. Everybody was talking about Japan and it led to summer travel. Another family went to Colombia. They went to Cartagena. They went to Bogota and they're so excited. They're going back again this summer to Colombia again because they didn't realize how amazing it was. If you were a travel advisor, this would be a pot of gold because everybody is talking about school, about summer and vacation travel. So if we go back and have a look at those 2 tactics, and I'm going to put them back up on the screen, those 2 tactics, the referral based and the outreach and networking, these are your fastest tactics to get summer travel, your fastest way. So what do we actually mean by that? Let me show you I want to go in and click on the actual tactics just here. So we're going to go to outreach and networking. And again, if you're not a people person, these are the most uncomfortable ones for you. So I want to look here, this one here that I've highlighted. I've got a couple here: LinkedIn for corporate and incentive travel, podcast guest appearances, in-person networking and events, host webinars and virtual events, travel expos and trade shows. I would say that these three are the three quickest ways to get clients. The first one is in-person networking and events, right? That is the quickest way to get clients. If I was a travel advisor and I was stood there at Black Monday this morning, Anthony, how many people were at Black Monday this morning? 30? Yeah, maybe 30 different people were there. Sometimes it's 60, sometimes it's 10. This morning, if you were a travel advisor and you had business cards, you could have easily have said, hey, if you want to book travel, I have a travel agency. I'd love to help you out. May I give you a card? And just give a card. And I guarantee you that you would have had proposals and inquiries. I guarantee you, because all the families that I spoke to this morning, none of them use a travel advisor. They just do it in between doing other things, right? What kind of events are these? These are not just school gates, because some of you are thinking, gosh, I don't have kids at school anymore. These are Chamber of Commerce events. These are neighborhood events. Our one place that we met somebody recently is we went to a co-work for the day. We have a clubhouse, like a community center in our neighborhood, and it has co-work for free the second and the fourth Tuesday of every month. They are Starbucks. How many people have we met in Starbucks, going to work in Starbucks for the day? That same Toastique place that I told you about, we have met and changed numbers with so many people. I joined a networking group called Ladies of Porter Ranch. That's a neighborhood in Los Angeles, a very affluent neighborhood, but it was a networking event, kind of like a sorority, but not really. It's for women who want to grown women who want to make new friends. And there is an executive level of membership, and I'm paying $200 a month for that. But I get to promote my business. I get to hand out my business cards. I don't get to be embarrassed about doing that, because everybody knows that I paid for that level of membership. So we have an event coming up on the 24th. We had one 2 weeks ago. And from the event 2 weeks ago, I got 2 website booking inquiries. I've got 2 proposals to go off today. One is to an attorney, and the other is to a property management group, vacation property management group in Hawaii. So those events, I went to one event in March, and I'm going to another event this month, and I already have 2 proposals. Those 2 proposals are very interesting to go out, because those 2 people who asked for them, they just sent me a DM, hey, it was nice to meet you. They already know my prices, because my website prices are published online. I don't make it a secret or make it hard or tell people book a discovery call like I can put on there. They already know my prices. They already know that we're in the same community. So there's a level of trust and vetting that's already happened there. And part of being in this community is that we want to support each other. So right now, if you need leads and bookings, this is what I would do. I would write down in-person networking events on a piece of paper. If you really need them, you'll do it. If you're not that serious about this business, you'll find an excuse. But write it down. And then I want you to go to Eventbrite or meetup.com or Facebook events or Google or ChatGPT or Claude, and I want you, or all of the above, and I want you to type in what networking events are coming up in my city or my town for business owners, or for women, or for stay-at-home moms, or for cyclists, or for any kind of event that is a networking event, right? Anthony and I would love to do a pickleball charter. We've been talking about it for 1.5 years now. What did we do? We went to a tournament to watch Anthony play, and Houston was taking video of Anthony, and I walked straight up to the event manager and I said, I noticed that you have some booths here. How does that work? I think it was like $100 to have a booth for the weekend. But imagine if you had a pickleball cruise planned for 18 months away, and you had a pull-up banner, or you had a whiteboard even. To me, that would be totally worth it. I would print a QR code and say, I wouldn't even be necessary. I would either advertise a particular cruise date, or just to get a group on board a river cruise ship, or on a cruise ship that's got pickleball courts. But I would say, scan the QR code and join our free pickleball travel group, and we'll let you know of things that are coming up. But you have to put yourself out there. So I want you to go ahead in the chat right now, because this is my number one tactic. If you need bookings for this summer, meaning that you need to get paid the commission this summer because you have bills due, you have things going on, or you want to take a trip yourself, or just things have been backing up, this is 100% what I would do. So in the chat, I want to hear who thinks that they can actually do this. Who thinks that they can actually do this? Who thinks that they can actually do this? I believe we can all do it, but I believe it is a choice that we make. I believe it's a choice. I will be looking today at what networking events are coming up beyond my ladies events that I've joined in my community. I want to see what else is out there, because I don't know if many of you know Margie Jordan. Margie is one of my closest friends on the planet. Love her. She's a travel advisor. She's been in travel 15, 20 years, I think. Margie also can't be bothered with people sometimes the same way I can. It's not that we're rude or we have an attitude. It's just that sometimes it's just a lot of work and it's hard and it doesn't pay off. And people are people. But Margie did this last year and she made me believe that I could do this. Margie went to a networking event. She didn't want to go. She wasn't excited to go. On the day that she went, she wasn't feeling it either. But she came back and she said, Sen, I got 4 referrals and I've got 1 proposal due. And he wants to travel in 2 weeks. And it was an expensive trip. I will tell you that. And she got the booking. So if you think that you can do it, I really do. Oh my gosh, I love this. Look, Sherry says, me. Joanne says, I can do this. Patty says, yes. Your travel advisor says, yes, I can do this. If you haven't said yes, that you could do this frequently, what if you just said yes to doing it one time? One time. All you need is to take business cards. You don't need to spend any money. You don't need to do anything. You could be broke as Houston right now, and you could just have business cards and turn up. You could get 50 business cards printed, 100 business cards printed, and just turn up. You could have a digital business card in your phone if you would prefer. I do recommend a printed business card over anything, because that still, despite the apps and despite the contact sharing, people love a good actual business card. So that would be my number one thing right now. If I told you that you just need to have, if you just want bookings right now, I would say to do that. My number 2 thing that I'm going to put on here is, I would say it's going to be any kind of partnership or collaboration. So kind of it falls under host webinars and virtual events, kind of falls under like in-person things here. But I would say that if you can partner with an organization, that is a brilliant strategy for you. So inside of your community, there are definitely groups of people. There are groups for cyclists. I have 0 interest in becoming a cyclist. I do not enjoy bike riding as much as most people do. I do want a new bike, but no surprises that I want an electric bike. And I would, if I was a travel advisor, be totally excited to plan a cycling trip. Totally excited to plan a cycling trip. You could do the Camino in Spain cycling style. You could do river cruises. You could do ocean cruises. People can take their bikes with them. Cyclists love to cycle, and cyclists also love to travel. Have you ever actually gone down to your local cycle shop, or is the feeling of that just much too scary? Because you could go down and you could introduce yourself and you could say to the cycle shop manager, hey, I was wondering if you would be interested in collabing with me. I don't need any money or anything, any resources from you, but I was wondering if you would be open to a collab. Mr. Cycle, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we have a special night here in the store, or a morning on a Saturday or a Sunday morning, maybe 30 minutes earlier than you open, or after the ride. I don't know. They'll help you. You help me figure out a time, Mr. Cycle. And I was thinking you could show off your latest, newest, most incredible bike that you're getting in, or accessory line, or whatever it is. Or you could have people bring in their bikes. You could do a quick assessment and then get them into a paid maintenance appointment with you. And I could cover off 3 cool itineraries for cyclists. And it could just be that, not selling anything, just talking about 3 itineraries. One might be the Camino in Spain, another one might be, I don't know, wherever, Alaska, and another one like Denali National Park and something else. And all you're doing is showing up for each other. You are going to spread the word in your local community. You're going to ask him to spread the word through his community. You'll help come up with the marketing materials. Maybe you'll write the email. You'll ask him, does he have emails or does he have cell phone numbers? You'll create a sign and put it on the counter. You might promote it for 3 months and you might have a QR code. You'll find out who the big cycling groups are, where they meet in the mornings. You might head down and meet them when they finish their cycle. They usually end up at cafes or places like that. Here's the thing. One act of discomfort could easily lead to 10, 20, 30 people traveling. I know a travel advisor that specializes in pickleball cruises, and she has 75 on her upcoming cruise. She's doing an ocean cruise on a ship with pickleball courts. All she did was book them on the regular rate. She actually ended up getting a group rate because she's got 75 people. She got a group rate and she got some free cabins, but she's using her free cabins to bring her friends so that they can help coordinate. And she got the cruise line to agree to blocking off the courts for a couple of hours every day so that they can do a round robin tournament. How would it feel tomorrow if you woke up to a booking of 75 people going on a cruise? That's like a massive family trip or a massive group trip. All that it required of her was to get involved with her local pickleball club and to turn up. She does play pickleball, but you don't need to. So I want you just to start thinking outside the box like that, okay? Start thinking about what groups you can do. Hazel, hi Hazel, nice to see you. I always like seeing Hazel. Hazel and I went to Egypt together. She says, I can do this. I got an email about sponsoring an event that I have done in the past. Yes, so look into these small groups. Look into these local groups. There's a local Montessori. They have 110 locations across the US, but there's probably 4 in Los Angeles. Very high end, very expensive. And they asked me, Sandra, will you write a travel column? You can put your link for people to book travel. They actually thought I was a travel advisor. And I said, I actually don't book travel. And I said, can I recommend someone to you? They said, no. They said, just write the column. And we want to talk about the benefits of travel. These are people paying $3,000 a month per child to have their kid in a Montessori. And some of them have 2 kids, 3 kids in there. Right? There are collaborations like that where you can reach out to people. When I spoke to Fiona about her booking in for her new AI-powered website the other day, she was telling me that she works in retail. She absolutely loves it. Gets her so many clients. But what else was I going to tell you? Something else that she did. Oh, I can't remember. I lost my train of thought. Collabs. Oh, I can't remember. That's okay. But anyway, putting yourself out there is definitely the way to do it, and finding that group of people. Oh, I remember. She writes a column for her local magazine, a travel column, and all she does is just puts her website at the bottom. And she just got asked by the local TV station. She lives in a small town in California. She just got asked by the local TV station if she wanted to be a regular guest, to talk about travel, upcoming trends, things like that. And so she's thinking about that. It's not inside of her comfort zone, but she's thinking about it. So is this something you could do? Could you find local businesses? Could you find hobby groups? Could you find photography courses? Could you find any kind? We had an influencer do a trip in our community. She is she's not an influencer. She's a travel agent that partnered with a knitting influencer who had an audience, not knitting. What do you call it? Not crochet, one of the others, some kind of needlework, and 29,000. And they ended up doing a trip of 110 people on a river cruise. That is almost a full charter. Almost a full charter. They had half on one sailing and half on the back-to-back sailing because it was too late to charter a ship. So they offered 2 weeks in Europe, and they did the Danube, and they went to yarn stores in Vienna, yarn stores in Budapest, and yarn store in Passau. How amazing is that? Just for reaching out saying, hey, I've got this crazy idea if you're interested. Have you ever thought about doing I can't remember what it was called. It was like cross stitch, doing a cross stitch cruise. I would love for you to invite your travelers. I can co-host it with you. And I don't know if she donated money or did a revenue share. I think the cross stitcher just went for free. So these are things that you can do. These are things that you can do that would get you very quick turnaround bookings. Let's have a look at some of the slow burn ones. If you are absolutely refusing to come out of your house in person, I would say to move away from outreach and networking. Also, another quick one is referral based. How long has it been? And I want everybody to answer this in the chat, since you phoned everybody that you have a phone number for about travel? Have you ever done that? Actually, that should be my question. Have you ever done that? Have you ever literally picked up your phone and gone through your phone and sent either a text or made a phone call and said, "Hi, Kim, Jasmine here. I know we haven't chatted in the longest time. I thought I'd give you a call and say hi. And then also wanted to share with you something that I've been working on. How are you?" And having that chat. That's a really uncomfortable thing for a lot of people to do. But if you went through your phone book, start with your clients, with the people that you've sent away that you book travel for. Then start with the people that you've done proposals for that didn't end up booking. And then start with friends and family and say, we've got some amazing summer travel. You should all be making summer travel calls. Make a script, get ChatGPT to do one, read your script so you don't waffle and be weird when they pick up the phone and say hi. Jamie says, can I just tell you, thank you for being so honest, because it's really hard to be honest about stuff like this. You're amazing for saying this. She says, I haven't called, but I've sent an email. Guarantee you that people are looking forward to summer travel. It's a few months out. Pick up the phone and call. Say to yourself, I'm going to make 5 calls this week. It's Monday today. Who in your phone book? Maybe you could have a look in your phone book right now and see in your contact list. Think of one person that you could call in your contact list or your client list. And just say, hey, and maybe it's more comfortable for you to get straight to the point than to make it a social call. Maybe you could just call and say, hi, it's Joanne from Joanne Robbins Travel. How are you? Good. Great. I hope you had a great spring break. Were you able to get away or did you stay home? You stayed home? Oh, your husband's not well? I'm so sorry to hear that. Is there anything that I could do to support you? Is there anything you need? Now, more than likely, they're going to say no, but it shows empathy. Well, listen, I didn't want to take much of your time, and I don't know if it's possible with your husband unwell, but did you have summer travel goals? Did you plan or hope that you might be able to get away this summer? And then be quiet, let them talk. And then say, you know what? I would love to help you out with that. Would you be open to that? Or I'd love to help you out with that, right? So I think that it's really important to pick up the phone. I'll tell you this one quick story. Anthony and I, after we got married, he framed something. It was our shell money from the Solomon Islands. He framed it, and because my mother had given it to us and it was really important. She thought we were going to shove it in a Target plastic bag and put it in a bottom drawer and forget about it. So he was really on a mission to prove to her that we were never going to do that. And he went and got it framed, and the framing guy called. How often did he call, Anthony?
Oh my God, all the time. At least every other week for a while.
The framing guy would call at least once or twice a month. And I kept saying to Anthony every time we'd see it, and he would see the number pop up. And I don't know why he wouldn't send it to voicemail, but he would pick up. Why did you pick up when you knew it was him and you had nothing to frame?
Because he was such a nice guy.
Because he was too nice to not pick up. He was an older dude. And Anthony would be like, hi, such and such. He'd be like, hi, Anthony. How you doing? Good. How's the wife? Good, good. He said, you got anything for me to frame? It was just direct and to the point. Why can't you do that? Why can't you pick up the phone and say, hey, it's Jamie from Jet Setting. Wondering if you have goals to get away this summer. Not any plans. Do you have any goals to get away this summer? Have you started planning? Is that something I can help you with? Right? This is something you can absolutely do. I never want to, I like this. Jamie says, I never want to sound inauthentic, which I feel is how I'll come off. Well, as we explained to Houston this week, your feelings and your thoughts definitely determine how you come out and how you come across. So we definitely have to go in it with a mindset of, I just need to write a script that I am comfortable with that sounds like me. If I was doing it, I would also feel very uncomfortable. So this is not me coming from a place of, it's really easy, just do it. It's really hard. It's really hard, right? But if you called and said to me, hey, Sandra, it's Jamie here from Jet Setting Travel. How are you doing? By putting your business name in there straight away, I think that that's showing your intention right away, which maybe you would feel more uncomfortable if you were just making a call just to say hi and then trying to segue to travel. That to me would feel a little less comfortable for me. Maybe it's just, hi, it's Jamie from Jet Setting. How are you? Good. Would love to know, were you able to get away for the spring break or did you stay home? You stayed home? Yeah, me too. I wanted to give you a quick call because I was wondering if you had any goals to get away this summer, either somewhere nearby or somewhere further away. That is the worst thing that could happen, is that you say something like that. The worst outcome that you could have is somebody say, no, thank you, sorry, not interested. Okay, you're still okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to feel a little embarrassed. You say, not a problem. Thanks so much. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate you. And then hang up. How people feel when they receive a call depends on how you speak to them, how you treat them, and most importantly, how you end the call. End the call with, you have a wonderful day, or have a great rest of day. And that's going to preserve that relationship. It'll preserve your integrity. It'll preserve the authenticity behind it. All right. So that is the number one thing that I would put down. Can you tell me in the chat, while I block this person who is bombing our chat right now and spamming and hacking our chat, can you tell me in the chat, is it possible that you could write a script, get chat to write you a script, and then be honest with chat and be like, that feels too pushy. That feels too pushy. I feel uncomfortable. Make it more of this. That you could write a script with chat and that you could make one phone call. Could you do that? Could you do that? Could you write a script and make one phone call? And I would make it an easy phone call by picking someone that you have booked travel with before. Someone that you have booked travel with, someone you know who loves you. He thought you were amazing. Because if you can make one phone call, I promise you, even if you don't enjoy it, you could make a second one. If you have a list of 10 people, 20 people, 50 people that you have done proposals for, I don't understand. And if you need bookings, I don't understand why you wouldn't. I don't understand it. Because if you need bookings and you need commission and you need money coming in, and you actually have people's phone numbers, people who gave you their phone number, chose to give it to you, this to see me seems the fastest, easiest way. And I would say that your only goal should not be to get bookings. Your only goal should just be to reconnect with your clients. And maybe that's a bit that you work into your script. Tell chat, I want to make a script. I want it to sound natural. I want it to sound genuine. I have a lot of fear around doing this. Let's make a couple of scripts. One for someone that I have booked before. One for someone that I did a quote for, but they didn't go through with it. One for someone that I know, but I don't know what their budget's like, or I assume that they don't have a budget to travel. I'm seeing broke people, my broke friends traveling everywhere. I have friends sometimes I'm like, what are you doing traveling? I thought you were saving for a house. But people make space and time for the things that they really want, and you could be part of that. All right, let me have a look at some of these comments here. And then I want to talk about the long burn marketing tactics you could be using. Sherry says, there are some groups that I am part of, but they don't allow any kind of promotions. And a lot of the people in these groups love to cruise, which is what my niche is. I don't know how to work around that. So Sherry, are these groups in-person groups, or are they virtual groups, online groups? And my answer to that would be to connect with them and find a way to collaborate together. When you put it to the admin or the group owner to collaborate, and I'll give you an example. Anthony and I started a new website. It was something that we have a passion around, and it's called Living Local. And it's all about connecting local business owners to the local community. And we just got really fired up with politics over the last few years. We were always fired up with politics, but even more so over the last year and a half. And we felt like small business owners are really getting a rough time, and that the billionaires are becoming bigger billionaires and the regular families are becoming poorer. And it's evident through things like people losing healthcare and people not being able to fill their cars up with gas, and food insecurity, and just lots of things like that. So we decided to try and create a website for Los Angeles where people with small businesses, they might be artisan bread makers, they could be a seamstress, they could be a photographer, anything like that really, dentist, anything. Micro businesses are people who like just do it at home on the weekends, all the way through to proper like 5 office dentist practices. And one of the ways that we are trying to get out there to get people to sign up for it is by finding people that we can collaborate with. So this is a really good example of me who, does not like doing these things, but I have a lot of passion for the impact that we can create. I said to Anthony, we're getting in the car, we're going to the markets after school. It was a Wednesday. There's a farmer's market in my neighborhood on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So I said, let's go on Wednesday and let's go and meet Larry. Larry's the guy who runs all 3 farmers markets. So we went down there. I had a business card in my hand and I walked up to him, and I actually want all the vendors at the farmers market to list on the website. It's not expensive. It's like $4 a week. It's not a big deal, but I need to get to lots of businesses. So I need to find someone who's got lots of businesses under their wing. And between him, he's probably got about, between the markets, maybe 80 different vendors. And then we need to do the same thing at all the different farmers markets. And then after that, we need to go to the Chamber of Commerce. But anyway, I digress. I went to Larry at the farmers market. Anthony and Houston were to the side. Houston was begging for snacks. So Anthony took him to the playground and I walked straight up to Larry. I said, hi, Larry. You don't know me, but I've been following you on social media for a while now. I love all of the work that you're doing with the farmers markets. I love the work that you're doing. It's so impactful with the farmers. A lot of our farmers in the Valencia area in California were impacted by ice raids. And I'm just a massive fan. And I wanted to, 1, meet you in person, and 2, ask you if you would be interested in a potential collaboration for a project that I'm working on. And he said, thank you. Thank you so much for that. What's your name? Gave my name. Didn't hand over my business card yet. I had it in my hand. I said, I'm looking to help promote local businesses and connect farmers and businesses and artisans and micro businesses and professionals with the local community. And I know that's something you're really passionate about as well. So we fast forward, we've had a couple of conversations, and what we're going to do is actually, we realized after talking to him that he's running these farmers markets at a loss. He's running them either at break even or at a loss. We're going to donate a percentage, like 20%, 40% of the listing fees that we get back into the community to help him to grow with more vendors, do more advertising for the farmers markets, do Facebook ads for the local community so he can get more consumers at the markets. It was about finding something that we had a mutual passion about, but then also helping him to accomplish one of his goals. And I really think that this is one of the ways that you need to approach partnerships and collaborations. It's about knowing what's important to that person. I knew from following Larry on Instagram that he was connected to every single restaurant and cafe in this 400,000 population radius. I also knew that he ran the farmers markets, and I also knew that he showed up in person. And so I took a chance and I went down there. You know what I was afraid of? I was afraid that he'd tell me no and he'd shoot me down publicly, and that I would be embarrassed and I would be rejected publicly. Just me and him in our conversation. When I say public, I mean in public, just him and me. But he didn't. He's a really nice guy. So this Sunday, we're going to the farmers markets in San Fernando Valley. We're going to a couple of different farmers markets. And Anthony today is making a list of all the farmers markets in Los Angeles so we can start reaching out to them. We might even start by phone first and then drop by and visit everybody afterwards, because there's a lot of farmers markets. But you can see here how just saying, like, figuring out who your key contact is and then figuring out what their goal is. And so when it comes to what Sherry was saying just here, I really like what you're saying. You're saying that there's groups out there, but the admins don't want any kind of promotion. You don't want to bust in with a promotion. That would be like me busting into Larry's Facebook group for the farmers markets or his pages saying, hey, does anyone want to put themselves on our Living Local website? We're trying to connect local farmers and micro businesses with our community. That's a promotion. And that's, what do you call it? Like when you encroach on someone's space, that's, what's the word? It's very violating, but it's a sense of entitlement that comes with that. It's rude, actually. But the difference was going to him and saying, hey, I know you're really passionate about this and I'm really passionate about this. Is there a way that would you be interested in figuring out some kind of partnership where we can mutually help each other? Doesn't cost either of us money. I love to throw that line in. Doesn't cost either of us money because people are scared that you're trying to sell them something, but where I can help to bring together the cycle community. And we can get more people coming in and doing what's important to you, whether that's new bike sales or maintenance or kids' bikes, whatever the goal is that that business owner has. And then also for me to achieve some of my goals, we could do it in a way that's comfortable for both of us, but supporting and helping each other. I just think that's what that partnership and that collaboration looks like. Okay, so if you were doing a long burn, I see your question mark. I'm going to come to that in just a second. The long burn, if you were doing a long burn, I would 1,000% opt for Pinterest. 1,000% opt for Pinterest. Pinterest is something that until you get a certain amount of impressions, you start off with 0, you go very quickly. Jamie can attest to it. She went from 0 to 7,000 impressions in 1 month. Once you get to 50 to 80,000, 100,000, that's where you start to see real magic and you get to see thousands of clicks through to your website every month. So you better have a good website when they get there. But it's a long burn. It's like being, I said the other day, it's like being starving, walking through the door when you're like shaky hungry and you open the fridge and anything looks good, or the pantry, anything looks good. Like you'll eat something that expired yesterday as long as it looks okay. But coming home and being that ravenous and instead putting on the slow cooker for 6 hours with a roast, it makes no sense. You're not matching your need with your solution. You need something quick. You need to grab something from the freezer in the microwave, or you need to grab something from the pantry, or you need to grab a fruit from the fruit bowl. The slow cooker is not going to help you. Pinterest is the slow cooker in your kitchen. It's not the toaster. Oh, that's a better way to say it. It's the slow cooker, not a toaster, not a microwave. But you can batch your leads. You can get big amounts of traffic from it. You just have to let it slow cook for a solid year and with consistent growth. Okay. So I want you, please open Pin Studio today. You know what? I said that the other day and I made the biggest mistake. Pin Studio will be open today. I guarantee when I get off this, Anthony, remind me when I get off this live in a few minutes time, we must open Pin Studio signups and email everybody. It hasn't been open. It's been on waitlist. We have dozens of people on waitlist to sign up for Pin Studio, and I did not know it was closed. And you know what happened? I promised the other day, Joanne, that I would open it, and it was on Friday. I didn't realize it was Good Friday and Easter Monday, and Blessing and Flora, whole of South Africa shuts down for those days. So we haven't had any staff for 4 days, and that's my own fault. But I know how to open Pin Studio, and I will do that as soon as I get off. Okay, questions. I want to know all your questions right now about anything to do with lead generation. If you have an idea, if you've been given an opportunity, if you want to run it by me, ask me now. I will answer anything about lead generation. Then I also want you to put in the chat, what is one thing that you are going to do leaving this call? I have a couple of things on here. Jamie commits to doing it this week. She commits to making a call. Girl, it's Monday. Why you got to say this week? You can't say in the next 2 days? Today? I know you work, so that may be a bit soon. By tomorrow, I think that you don't need a week, Miss Jamie, friend. I think that you could do this in the next 48 hours. Just one call. Just one call. All right. I love that you're going to do that though. So I'm going to take that win. Mark's Curated Journeys said, could you add this type of a script to Tame? I can. There are scripts in there, All Access Pass, but here's why I would like you to have a first attempt at doing it in chat. I want you to write in chat how you feel about doing a script. I want you to go in and say, I need to make phone calls. My marketing coach told me that I need to make phone calls to past clients, potential clients, people that I have on my list. I don't want to do it. I know that I need to do it. I'm very uncomfortable to do it. And then I want you to say this, can you help me to work through my fear and then help me to write a script? I think that's really important. Really, really important. I had to do, Chat's my therapist. I had to do this last week. I had to ask Chat to help me work through my fear of something. And it was about pricing structure for Los Angeles marketing and media. And I said, I don't know why I have a hard time with this. Can you help me work through my fear? And then can you help me to figure out some pricing? And it was for our websites. Our websites are a bit more expensive over there, and the monthlies are more expensive. And I had a hard time. So I asked for help working through the fear. So I would recommend that. I would recommend working through the fear with Chat and then writing your script and then giving Chat feedback and saying, I feel like I could say the first bit, but not the second bit. Can I have 20 alternatives for the second bit? Okay. Joanne says, I will make phone calls for summer and have found a networking event for next weekend. Oh my goodness. Did you do that while you were on this call? I love that. I just screenshotted that with my smiley face in it. I'm going to ride that for the rest of the day as great success. I love that. Tame is the best. The new business name came from answers from the 10 questions from Tame. No way. I love that. Can you send me a quick email that I could turn? I'm going to screenshot this too. My smiley face. If you've been working in Tame, anybody, and if you want to share what's worked really well for you, please let me know. And same with Pin Studio. Pin Studio, we had to iron out some bugs in January and a few weeks in February, but it's so good now and so consistent. And Tame really is amazing. Tame, you can work through, actually go into Tame. If you have Tame, don't write your script in Chat, write your script in Sam, which is the AI chat inside of Tame. It's me. It's my brain behind it, and I trained it. And the the good thing about writing your scripts in Tame, if you have access, is that it knows all about your business and your goals and who you serve and who your ideal clients are. So yeah, if you have Tame, go ahead and write your scripts in there. Okay, any other question? Someone else. Tame also suggested to raise my service fees to $550, and I feel like you deserve it. Was that difficult for you? Did you push back with Tame? Did you go back in and be like, oh, I don't feel comfortable. Can you help me work through that fear or through my discomfort? Wow, I love this. I love this. Joanne said the coaching in Tame Step 1 helped me to work through my fear last night. I do not have imposter syndrome. I have integrity. Is that what Sam told you? That sounds like something I would say. I don't really like the term imposter syndrome anymore. I said it to a friend of mine and it triggered her, and I couldn't understand why, because I was like, well, then you have it if it triggers you. But actually, I had to go back and do some thinking on it. I don't love the term. I like it when you have integrity, but you can't quite match your actions and your integrity. You need some help gluing them back together. I love that. I trust you and I trust Tame. I love that. I love that. Sounds like I need to chat more with Tame than I have been. Yes, I definitely recommend it, Patty, because Tame has all of your business loaded into it. It has more information than chat ever will. It's secured because we don't share it with anyone. It's not publicly available. And so I think it will help you a lot. Okay, I'm looking for any other questions. Will there be a replay? I just got YouTube to work for me now. Yes, ma'am, there will be. I'll send out the link probably by tomorrow at the latest. Okay, that's everything. I've had the best time with you today. Thank you so much for your feedback on Tame and the chat in there. Her name is San. She's really cool. Good luck with your phone calls. If you want to, email me and tell me. I read all the emails that the girls send to me. Email me and let me know. Go into Tame, or if you don't have Tame, go into chat and talk about that script. But if you can make a phone call today about summer travel, this is literally your ideal runway for summer travel bookings. If you leave it more than a week or 2 weeks, I fear that you'll be too late. And I really want to see you get bookings from these tactics today. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye for now.